Did you ever wonder how strong the speaker race is, or what kind of secret powers they possess? Well, don't worry, because in today's episode, we will talk about all 11 elite fighters of the speaker race. I will try to explain them in detail, covering every single form of them. And let's start with the weakest and the most basic one. Fighter number 1, normal speakerman. Nothing extraordinary individually, but they belong here. Same reason as the normal cameraman or any other normal member. Their quantity and their will to fight are the power. Let me prove it. In their 1.0, they used sound waves as their main natural attack, audio frequency blasts from their speaker heads that could stun and damage anything in range. For melee, they carried plunger weapons and they got in close with them because speakermen have always loved fighting at close range more than any other faction. And they celebrate wins with the Orange Justice Fortnite dance mid-battle. I will never stop loving that detail. Now for the 2.0. They got jetpacks, opening up aerial combat for the first time, headphones for sound protection, and they added more variety to their melee. Knives, bats, axes, because the speakerman philosophy is always get closer and hit harder. And then the 3.0, debuting with the Speaker Armada in episode 78. This is the version that changed everything. They are now carrying plasma-coated weapons, swords, twin daggers, energy sledgehammers, and sickles depending on the squad. Red glowing speakers, vest armor. They went from plunger weapons and bats to plasma-coated swords. That is not a small upgrade. That is a faction-level transformation. This was the first fighter of the speaker race. Fighter number 2, large speakermen. They are larger, bulkier, and have longer arms, significantly more durable than the normal speakermen. They've been the speaker race's heavy hitters since the early episodes, and they show up in the biggest moments. Personally, I love them. In their 1.0, their most effective tool was always their raw size and physical combat, going hand-to-hand with enemies that normal speakermen had no business fighting. They had a knife as their main weapon alongside their sound waves. Simple, brutal. And in episode 67, the brave large speakerman showed exactly what that simplicity looked like at its peak. He grabbed the Alpha Hills gate and held it wide open so the infiltration squad could pass through. He knew what was closing in on him. He held it anyway. He died doing it. He doesn't have a proper name, just brave. That name carries more weight than most named characters in this series. Now for the 2.0, the Big Bloods. They came back in episode 78, fully rebuilt, now running arm plasma cannons on both forearms. Similar power to Infected Titan Speakerman, 2.0's arm weapons. They also picked up an energy mace that has speaker energy charged on both ends, for knocking enemies clean off their feet. In episode 78, 2 of them knocked Interceptor Astro toilets straight out of the air back-to-back with plasma cannons and maces. Back, 2, back. Clean. Large speakerman, especially the brave one, fully deserves all the love he gets. This was the second fighter of the speaker race. Now for the third speaker fighter, Speakerwoman. How can anyone not love her? She debuted in episode 61. She walked onto the battlefield dancing with headphones on, completely unbothered. The geeky Jesus Skibidi Toilet flashed his lights at her. She sarcastically applauded him, then threw knives into his eyes to blind him, flushed him, and turned around to help the POV cameraman up. That was the debut. That was the introduction. In her 1.0, she fired knives from cavities built into the sides of her speaker head, loaded and launched like a weapon, precise enough to hit both eyes of a moving enemy. Her chest diaphragm lit up reddish pink and fired powerful sound wave blasts, and she had sonic boots that gave her speed and agility beyond anything standard speakerman could match. Now for the 2.0. She came back after Dark Speakerman's death with a full armor upgrade. She put 2 swords on her back, same model as Buzzsaw Skibidi Mutant's upgraded blades. She added a second jetpack, giving her dual jetpack aerial combat and upgraded headphones for protection. And she wears a necklace honoring Dark Speakerman. She built more weapons, more power. She even came back wearing his memory around her neck. How can anyone not love her? This was the third fighter of the speaker race. Fighter number 4, Dark Speakerman, a real one. He debuted in episode 24 as just the one speakerman with a different looking head than everyone else. He stood out immediately, and over time, he grew into something way more than a background fighter. In his 1.0, his main weapons were 2 large knives that he used for both attacking at close range and deflecting incoming strikes defensively. He could fire sound waves to stun and push enemies, shown in episodes 69 and 70 during the Alpha Hills raid. His quad-turbine jetpack was noticeably faster and more capable than standard speakerman jetpacks. He was more mobile than almost any other non-Titan on the battlefield. And he had a toggle glow ability. He could switch his speaker's light on and off at will, giving him a stealth capability no other speakerman has ever shown. He never made it to a 2.0. In episode 70, after pushing deep into the Alpha Hills compound, he charged at the chief scientist Skibidi Toilet with his knives drawn, knowing what would happen, and bought the Alliance enough time for reinforcements to arrive and surround the enemy. He gave that window with his life, and Speakerwoman 2.0 wears a necklace that looks like him. In my opinion, he is gone too soon. Just imagine his upgrades with the new speaker Armada. I miss him a lot, man. Rest in peace. This was the 4th fighter of the speaker race. Now for the 5th speaker fighter, and after 19 episodes of absence, it came back completely rebuilt. And bro, it really surprised me. I think it's not just me. In its 1.0, the Speaker Strider was a multi-legged vehicle, and its main attack was a sustained soundwave blast, a continuous, focused stream of pure audio frequency that could wipe entire groups of Skibidi toilets in one go. In episode 25, they used a decoy car to bait an entire battalion into range and then just nuked them all with sound. It was that powerful that even allied Speakerman had to warn the POV cameraman to put protective headphones on before it fired. Your own teammates couldn't stand near it. That's the level. Now for the 2.0. It came back in episode 78 completely redesigned into a compact aircraft shape. It had 4 plasma cannons for direct fire, 2 antennas, retractable metal plate armor for protection, and the new addition that made everyone react, Drone Reaper speaker drones. Small flying drones that deploy from its back and attack enemies independently with their own soundwave blasts. In episode 78, it deflected an Astro Toilet's laser cannons, twice using sound waves alone, then deployed 2 drones simultaneously and closed out the fight. It is not just artillery anymore. It is a full combat aircraft with independent weapons. This was the 5th fighter of the speaker race. Fighter number 6, Executor Speakerman. Do I even need to explain? He showed up in episode 78 and immediately became the most talked about new character in the series. He is a semi-Titan, sitting right below Titan Speakerman in raw power and above every other Speakerman alive. The 2nd most powerful Speakerman in the entire series. His main weapon is a plasma-coated scythe based on Crescent Rose from RWBY. He throws it like a boomerang, so it hits multiple enemies in a wide arc in a single throw. But in episode 78, it did something nobody expected. It absorbed the full energy blast from a Destructor Astro Toilet's laser cannon, then formed a cross shape and fired a massive plasma beam back into the sky. It absorbed a cannon shot and turned it into an artillery blast. I mean, that is a weapon. He can also fire shockwaves from his palms using built-in palm speakers. And in episode 78, he used this to stop a full wave of incoming plasma projectiles mid-air and redirect every single one of them straight back at the Astros that fired them. He caught their shots and returned them. He also carried a sticky bomb launcher for area denial, and his sound waves at semi-Titan output are in their own class compared to normal Speakermen. He squeezed the Hunter Astro Toilet with one hand mid-fight, just held it there. He said, "No more hiding. All invaders will be executed," planted his scythe in a corpse, and fired a plasma beam into the sky. First Speakerman to ever speak English, commanded the entire Speakerman Armada. His stock is absolutely flying right now. Invest now before it's too late. This was the 6th fighter of the speaker race. Now for the strongest and the 7th speaker fighter, Titan Speakerman. The fastest Titan, the most aggressive, the most wrathful, and honestly, the most personality-having Titan in the whole Alliance. He could be dumb occasionally, but he is kind-hearted, that's for sure. Let's talk about his forms. In his 1.0, he used a plasma cannon on his right arm as his main ranged weapon, rapid-firing red plasma orbs that he could also charge up for single devastating shots. His core beam fired from his chest core in a continuous stream of red energy, perfect for sustained damage on whatever he was targeting. He had a large combat knife for close range, sound waves strong enough to push Titan cameramen back from the shockwave, and a jetpack. He was introduced grabbing and crushing a Skibidi toilet, then immediately getting swarmed by multiple giant threats at once. He handled all of them. Now for the 2.0, post-infection. Both arms now have plasma cannons, with a retractable mechanism on each, similar to Titan TV Man's energy blade. When Titan TV Man supercharges his core directly, he enters an overcharged mode where his firing rate and damage spike dramatically, and he basically enters full berserker state. In episode 65, he drove dual knives directly into the decoy G-Man's eyes while Titan Cameraman finished him off from the other side. And about that infection arc, the Skibidi parasite had him for 25 episodes. He destroyed a cameraman base. He fought his own teammates. He was the Alliance's worst nightmare for more than half a season. And when he was freed in episode 57, he kept every single upgrade the toilets gave him. He came back stronger because of what they tried to do to him. He turned their weapon into his power. That is the most Titan Speakerman thing that has ever happened. His 3.0 is confirmed as of episode 79, currently incomplete. still upgrading. What comes next? You guys tell me in the comments. Judging by the strength of the Speaker Armada, he is going to be hella strong for sure. It's finally his moment to shine. Titan Speakerman fully deserves all the love he gets. This was the 7th fighter of the Speaker race. Fighter number 8, Speaker Helicopter. You might be thinking, who is this random? But it's been there from the very beginning. Speaker Helicopters are flying Speakerman variants, a vintage stereo body with a rotor on top and giant speakers built into the frame. They debuted in episode 24, marching alongside the full Speakerman army. Their main attack is a soundwave blast, powerful enough to knock enemies into buildings and make them explode on impact. And according to the official Skibidi Toilet Survival Guide, these are not drones. They are sentient Speakermen. They just don't have a face to show it. A welder variant appeared in episode 69, deploying from the helicopter to deliver reinforcements and upgrades to allies mid-mission. They've been on every major deployment since episode 24. Every time the Speakermen show up, the helicopters come with them. This was the 8th fighter of the Speaker race. Now for the 9th Speaker fighter, the slowest Alliance aircraft, and somehow still here. The Speaker plane debuted in episode 24 alongside the Speakerman army. In its 1.0, it had no visible wings and no fully explained propulsion system. It just flew, speakers blazing, somehow slower than every other Alliance aircraft in the sky. Episode 63 confirmed it officially, outpaced by the camera dropship, the camera helicopter, both Titans, and the Speaker helicopter, dead last, and it kept showing up anyway. Now for the 2.0, the form that came back in episode 78 with the Speaker Armada. This version has plasma cannons mounted beneath its wings for direct engagement against Astro toilets, and it has warp capability, the same acceleration technology the Astros pioneered, now integrated into the Speaker plane. The slowest Alliance aircraft got warp speed. The arc on this thing. Speaker plane fully deserves all the respect it gets. This was the 9th fighter of the Speaker race. Fighter number 10, Pablo. Honestly, he's just here, and that's enough. Pablo is a unique large Speakerman with a normal Speakerman head. He debuted in episode 78, spotted in the background when the POV panned left during the Astro assault. It's just Pablo showing up. He doesn't have unique abilities. His sound waves are probably weaker than a standard large Speakerman. DAFUQBOOM himself treated his appearance as an Easter egg. The community went insane over him anyway. Why? Because sometimes a character just has it. Pablo has it. This was the 10th member of the Speaker race. I don't know if I should call him a fighter because we never seen him fighting. Fighter number 11, Gray Speakerman. The first Speakerman, the OG. He debuted in episode 24, the very first Speakerman ever to appear in the series, saving the POV cameraman from a Hydra Strider Skibidi toilet and helping him to his feet. In episode 25, he was the one who told everyone to put on headphones before the Speaker Strider fired. His combat kit is the same as any normal Speakerman, but his role has always been more than combat. In episode 79, he was the POV character for the entire Watchmen of Doom sequence. In my opinion, that is nothing less than a legacy. This was the 11th and the last fighter of the Speaker race. I think the upgrades of the Speaker race are very well delivered. They are the last hope of the Alliance. If you guys know me, I am not complaining anymore. They got some cool ass upgrades. Can't wait to see Titan Speakerman in action. Okay guys, that was it for today's episode. If you want more of these videos, make sure to like and subscribe.